If there's one thing you need to know about Morgan Freeman, it's this. The man despises being handed race-based political viewpoints just because of the color of his skin. He's Morgan Freeman, not your spokesperson, therapist, and sociology professor all rolled into one. But apparently, someone forgot to tell The View. They invited him on the panel only to commit the TV equivalent of a hit and run on his dignity. First, they gave him a measly 5 minutes. 5 minutes. That's less time than it takes to microwave a frozen lasagna. And then, instead of focusing on his brand new documentary, they tried to drag him into the swampy waters of politics. Truly, it was like inviting Shakespeare to your house and then asking him to ghostwrite your tweets. But don't take my word for it. Let's roll the clip, watch closely, and prepare to cringe.
There have been, if I remember correctly, 6 extinction-level events on the planet since life began. I mean, 6 times. Large portions of life. Not human life we're talking just life. Gone, destroyed. We're headed for another one. Scientists have said if we don't hurry up and change our ways, there's going to be a cataclysmic event that will wipe many of us off the face of the earth.
The View is really playing with fire here when it comes to Morgan Freeman. And let's be honest, if you're going to walk a thin line with anyone, Morgan Freeman is not your guy. This is the man who can narrate penguins waddling through Antarctica and make it sound like the climax of a Shakespeare play. Yet here they are, poking the bear while he's just trying to promote his documentary, Life on Our Planet. Now sure, both that documentary and the one about Black history they discussed afterward are easy to steer into political territory. Environmentalism and race relations are practically the express lanes to heated debates. But let's pump the brakes for a second on the doomsday rhetoric around climate change. This whole extinction-level event thing? That kind of cataclysm happens once in tens of millions of years. The dinosaurs got it bad, yes. But your Prius isn't going to cause the next meteor strike. Human-caused climate change, anthropogenic if you want to flex at parties, has only been around for about 200 years. So yes, the environment is shifting, and yes, it's worth serious attention, but the panel was practically selling tickets to the end of the world. Even the most extreme projections give us 2 to 4 degrees Celsius of warming. That's not nothing. It's serious. But it doesn't exactly scream, "Pack your bags, the asteroid is coming." The bigger issue? Modern environmentalism sometimes veers into this strange anti-human, anti-growth mindset, as if humanity itself is the villain in a Marvel movie. And watching the View panel, you can't help but notice that vibe creeping in. Doomsday predictions served with a side of guilt-tripping.
It is because life is tenacious. Life. We're not talking about human beings here. We're talking about the planet.
Yeah.
She'll stay.
Yeah.
Well, it's tenacious if we would just leave it alone. Leave it alone. And the human interruption of all of that is what's causing all the problems. I hope that it's not too late.
See what I mean? The moment you make the planet and the environment the main character of the story, you inevitably start casting humans as the evil villain twirling the mustache. That's exactly the line Joy Behar parroted straight from the far-left environmentalist playbook, and you could practically see Morgan Freeman's soul sigh. That was not the detour he wanted to take, and definitely not the interpretation of his documentary he signed up for. Here's the thing. Over 99% of all species that have ever lived on Earth are already extinct. Dinosaurs, trilobites, giant sloths, you name it, gone. Life pops in and out like a cosmic game of whack-a-mole. But the planet itself? This rock is tougher than a stale bagel. It has survived ice ages, meteors, and whatever fashion choices we made in the 80s. And get this, I'm not even exaggerating, there's actually a new fringe group online advocating for the voluntary extinction of the human race to save the planet. Yep, apparently the solution is for all of us to politely exit stage left so the Earth can have some me time. It's the environmental equivalent of breaking up with someone by saying, "It's not you, it's literally every human alive." This is what happens when a good, necessary idea, caring for the planet, gets pushed so far it collapses under its own weight. Morgan Freeman clearly wants no part of that extremism. And honestly, same here. I'm all for saving the Earth, but I'd prefer to be around afterward to enjoy it.
I want to ask you about a different documentary.
Go ahead.
As some politicians around the country try to erase Black history, you're making sure people don't forget vital parts of our past.
Yeah.
including this documentary that you executive produced called 761st. Did I get that right? Yeah, 761st Tank Battalion, the original Black Panthers. About the first Black battalion to fight in World War II.
First Black Armored Battalion.
Yes.
You can almost taste the awkward tension in that panel, like everyone suddenly realized they'd just been gently corrected by Morgan Freeman, and no one wanted to be the first to make eye contact. I mean, come on, the man has more gravitas in his pinky finger than the entire studio combined. And what did they do? They gave him 5 minutes. 5. That's barely enough time for Morgan Freeman to finish a sentence, let alone unpack a documentary. Honestly, it felt less like an interview and more like speed dating with Morgan Freeman, except instead of romance, you get unsolicited political framing. And here's the kicker: Sonny Hostin, not Ah Tin, though it kind of sounds like a diet soda, went and pulled the exact same maneuver Joy Behar did earlier. Different documentary, same move, this time with his film on Black history. They tried to make Freeman the reluctant mascot of whatever social message they were trying to push, and you could see him politely but firmly resisting. It's like inviting Gordon Ramsay to cook and then handing him a microwave burrito. You don't do that. The whole thing just shows how badly they miscalculated. Morgan Freeman doesn't need their narrative. He is the narrative.
And start in the 40s and move up. And how many times did I see Black people in the movies? And if I did see them, what were they doing?
Yeah, there were servants.
Servants.
They were always. I
Yeah.
know it's appalling.
I can give you the name.
If you watch old movies, Betty Davis movies are particularly, even though she's great, and
It's the period
it's not her
of time
fault.
that
It's
the
the
movies
period.
were made.
Yeah.
It's
It's just
upsetting
what they
to
were
watch.
doing.
To tell you the
Well,
truth.
it shouldn't be that way
It
because
is.
somebody did make money.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And now that's the time.
It's really simple. You can't make someone feel like a victim if they've already decided they're not going to play that role. And that, right there, is exactly what I love about Morgan Freeman. The man has the quiet confidence of someone who refuses to carry baggage that isn't his. And if you don't believe me, if you think I'm overselling it, go back and watch that old 60 Minutes interview. It's practically a masterclass in how to shut down the victim narrative with nothing more than calm, common sense, and a voice that could convince you to refinance your mortgage.
How are we going to get rid of racism until...
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man.
Nobody on that panel can even muster a real disagreement with him. How could they? The man has lived it all. Born in 1937, now 84, he's seen the arc of American culture bend and twist over decades. That kind of lived history isn't something you can fact-check on Google. It's carved into his perspective, which is why everything he says carries so much weight. And he's right. Art is a mirror of its culture, and culture is always shifting. What feels groundbreaking today might look outdated tomorrow, and that's part of the beauty. To drag the past into the courtroom of modern morality is not only short-sighted, it's disrespectful to the artists who paved the way. You don't honor history by rewriting it with today's hashtags. And I'd bet good money Morgan Freeman doesn't want that fate for himself either. When history remembers him, and it will, he'd want to be seen in the fullness of his time, not as some poor soul filtered through tomorrow's outrage machine.